fire, probably the most integral thing known to mankind, yet can be one of the hardest things to master. Yet, if we look, we can find these little natural firelighters dotted all around your backyard. If you look closely, you can often find these growing amongst other natural fire starters as well, where life starts to slow down and decay. It thrives off of other natural plants, until of course this becomes old, dry and black itself. Botanical name, or scientific name, is Daldinia concentrica. It does have a second, more common name, however, King Alfred's cake. So the primary use for the fungus is actually fire lighting, which we'll go on to demonstrate shortly. Different life stages of this. These are slightly older, these fungus, and you'll notice they're quite dull and matte finish. When they're younger, they're much shinier and have a brown appearance to them. The tapping on the fungus will tell you whether it's a viable one. This one sounds hollow, but it's relatively solid. Occasionally you'll pick these off and you'll essentially be left with the shell, which will be almost hollow. There's a lot of insects do like to live in there, in particular the concealer moth. The caterpillar will live inside the fungus and feed upon it, just leaving this shell behind. So when you remove these from the tree, you can break these quite easily to expose the inner core, if you like, these concentrical rings. And much like growth rings on a tree, you can count these and it will tell you exactly how old this fungus is. Each one indicates 1 year of growth. So now we've got our fungus from the tree, we can look at a real super easy, quick way to get this lit. Then we can transport it, if need be, and look at getting from this to a sustained fire. We're going to break it open again, just like we did earlier. So expose the inner of the fungus. And with a ferrocerium rod, a good few strikes should and there we go. You just see it starting to glow. Years gone by, sort of prehistoric people would have transported this just for a labour-saving device, basically. Given something like this will probably burn for around 45 minutes to an hour-ish, something like that. It depends on the density of the fungus and things like that. But now we are here, we can then look at getting this to a sustained fire. So we've now arrived at our main camp area. We'll take a tinder bundle, it's just some dried goose grass I've gathered, and we're just going to drop the fungus directly into the tinder bundle. Taking note of what way the wind's blowing, away from me, so I don't get a face full of flame and smoke. So just blowing that, feeding it with oxygen. Every time I do, it's gradually igniting the fuel of the tinder bundle. Now we've got a flame, we can start adding some more sticks and get ourselves a proper fire going. So that's not where the connection with fire ends with this little fungus. Going back to the name King Alfred's cake, as myth or legend tells us, King Alfred, while fleeing from Vikings many years ago, took refuge with a peasant woman. and asked him to look over or watch over her cakes as they cooked by the fire. And while he daydreamed, dreaming or thinking about the battle that had gone on earlier that day, he let the cakes burn, and obviously being quite embarrassed about this, he's said to have taken those cakes and hidden them in the forest. And these are quite reminiscent of those cakes, hence where the legend comes from. These are King Alfred's cakes. And there we have our fire, all started from one little fungus, which you can probably find in most woodlands in the UK, to be honest. So yeah, good fun one to do with the kids. Nice simple one to light, and yeah, always a useful thing to have in your bag when you're out hiking. You never know.